With the election coming up soon, I don't care which side you're on, but I do want to make a point of this. Don't just lie. It's going to make you look really bad. Now, for the conservatives, people who are very far left, they will deny global warming, overpopulation. They'll lie about EVs, saying the most ridiculous things about them that were true like 10 years ago before they were actually developed, you know. They'll even badmouth things like solar power and wind turbine energy, talking about how the maintenance costs are, how expensive, how much pollution they send out, manufacturing them, just things that are complete lies. And for the left, and this is not like much of the left, this is the very, very, very radical left, which unfortunately is becoming more common for them. They're denying things that Trump did as far as denying the fact that it was the best economy that we had ever. Um, they deny that how well that we lived, survived, our security, that he was very peaceful, that he did not start any wars, that he ended wars. They'll deny all that stuff, and they'll even lie about how he hates women and how he is trying to make abortion illegal in all 50 states. I've heard that. I'm like, what the heck? And there's something from the Heritage Foundation. They're not at all part of the government. And they're a radical, extremist, Christian, right wing group that came out with an agenda. And people are trying to make it seem like Trump is somehow behind this agenda, even though it says all the stuff that he's been publicly against always. If you get to the point where you say any of these completely inaccurate things that are laughable, then nothing that you believe or that you say politically matters because you have no sense of reality and no understanding of the most basic things. Every single person that I've spoken to who has had a radical view and they say, I didn't see that at all. It's like, really? Well, what about this speech and that speech? Didn't watch it, wasn't aware of that, didn't know he did that, didn't know that he did that, never read this. So it's like, okay, so why do you think you're in a position to say that you didn't notice that at all if you've never watched a single um, speech of the president, if you've never read a single piece of his speech or studied anything at all in any way, why do you think your opinion on the subject that you don't even know the basics about would matter? This is for either side. Their opinion doesn't matter. If your opinion on how vending machines work, you think that it's bad because it's leading to the extinction of some type of squirrel in the hills of Brea Canyon in California, and people say, what are the connections? And you have no idea. But vending machine manufacturing is leading to this somehow. And it turns out that it is in no way related, that there's no connection at all. And then you have a comment as far as how vending machines are using 10 times more electricity and it's killing the planet. They're like, well, how is it using it? And it's like 10 times more than what? You notice how nothing I'm saying here is making any sense. But if you put it out in the media and brainwash people enough with that, those people will just start saying it. Then it'll become common sense. Then it'll become part of society. It will be part of our culture. But no one will have any reasoning on why because they don't actually know the thing about the vending machines or that squirrel or that the squirrel doesn't even exist or power consumption levels and that it's actually taking less because of the circuitry nowadays and things are more they people would not know that. And that's the issue. The only difference between those two things I said is one is based on politics, which causes people an emotional response immediately, and the other one is something that is not something that we hear every day, so it does not create an emotional response. But that amount of ignorance on both of those topics that I said are both just as absurd and just as ignorant. And that's the issue is people don't understand the amount of absurdity in the things that they say when it comes to politics because that emotional feeling that's driving them rather than that logic. If you could remove yourself from that emotional state and look at things logically, which it could take time to do. It took me years to be able to do that. You will have a much better, clearer, greater understanding, and it will be greatly beneficial towards your life, especially when it comes to anything political. I mean, when it comes to things politically, you will be able to predict things, see things way before they happen, and yeah, it would just benefit you. It will benefit you a great deal if you're able to achieve that.